relationship to another. Oopsie. Let's not assume that he thought, I don't want to do that. Never mind. Okay, let's see. Oh, there he is. Oh, now I'm in the primary spot. Look at that.
What happened there is I started recording it right at that point. So
Oh, is that what made it go out?
Yeah. So
okay.
I'm ready. We're ready now. I just wanted to get it so we could. There, we're recording.
We just started recording.
Yep.
Should I kind of just
go over it again? Well, how we? Okay. So
well, basically what I was talking about is with all my clients, what I do is I spend time getting to know what they've been doing in the past that didn't work for them. We want to do something different in the future so they have better results. And since 98% of everybody that I've talked to for the last 18 years duplicates, that they'll go from one relationship to another relationship and they'll repeat old bad patterns. We don't want to do that with you or with any guy, because if we're not going to get different results, I wouldn't even want to take someone on as a client. So I do this with all the guys that I sit down with, and every guy who says, oh, I don't duplicate, 98% of the time I find out that they do duplicate. Okay? So you're going to be our test subject, and I'm going to ask you questions, and we're going to see what your pattern is so that we can have different results.
Good.
Good?
Really good.
Okay, good.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Very, very, very cool. So, Robert, tell me, when was your last long-term or significant relationship, or are you still in a relationship?
A significant one was probably, well, I've been divorced for 10 years now. So from 2003 to, no, it's more than that. It's 12 years already. So in and out of relationships for the last 12 years.
About 12 years,
yeah.
Okay. So the last serious or significant relationship,
sure.
How long ago was that?
Not very long ago. It's yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you still kind of on and off with that person?
No, we're on. Yeah.
You're on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and you're okay with us throwing her in the mix just to kind of see what's going on there.
Yep.
Okay, cool. How long have you guys been seeing each other?
Well, about 6 months now.
About 6 months. Okay. And so I'm guessing there might be some sticking points or some problems with the relationship, or not necessarily?
Well, we're looking at, there's differences in the way we look at things, I guess. Substance, I guess it's around, I like the, how can I say it?
As soon as he walked back in, he called.
More like the, how can I say it? Like, just understanding the depth. We're friends first, and that's probably the biggest part that has held us together for so long.
Okay.
But the sticky parts are things that I noticed. She was also 30 years ago, a person that I met 30 years ago, and when we dated, yeah.
Oh, so you dated 30 years ago,
yeah.
And now you're
Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah.
There's still great chemistry, or is chemistry?
Well, yes, the chemistry is there, and I do. The chemistry is there. There's a differences in the way I lived a life very different from me, because I live in California versus here. So a lot of the same, I'm a little bit aware of that people haven't changed here, even though they have changed. But there's a lot of it is very stagnant in this area. So I'm a little different. I guess that's the two different worlds that I didn't connect when we got back together.
You guys got back together. The problem is that you're kind of the same and she's different.
Well, I mean, I'm more the same. But California is a little different because we're a little bit more fast paced, a little bit more things are going on. And here in Michigan, it's a little slower pace for me.
Oh, yeah, I grew up in Indiana, so I kind of get it. That one.
Yeah, you know what, San, yeah. And it's very, oh yeah, you're in Carlsbad, so you know that there's a Indiana, and there's a contrast between the two.
Oh, totally. So is she still in Michigan then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're here.
Yeah.
And you don't know how much trying to have long distance?
No, I came back to Michigan because my father came actually from the same town.
Okay.
So
wow.
yes,
Okay.
it's just a crazy. Yeah. Why would I do that? Don't ask me. I did it.
Okay, so at this point, are you're in Michigan or you're here in California?
No, I'm in Michigan at the moment. At the very moment, yeah. But
are you planning on staying there?
no, not at all. No.
Okay.
Just yeah.
Wouldn't that cause problems in your relationship?
If we had a separate relationship, one in California and one in Michigan.
Well, or if you guys weren't, was she planning on moving to California?
Yep. She plans to move to California. She does.
Okay.
So
the biggest problem with you guys is, I'm just trying to get to that kind of if there was a problem in the relationship, where would it be?
It would be in I would say it would. Wow, that's a good question.
Well, maybe I'm making a problem when there's no problem, or.
Well, yeah, a problem is very different. Like a problem focuses in on a certain area. The pattern, I guess. What I'm thinking is.
Robert, it might be easier.
That's a good
It might
question.
be easier to go back to your last relationship before this one.
Okay.
And then we can parallel
Let's do that.
Because it might be easier for you. Because I know it's a little harder. You're in the middle of it, so it's a little harder to talk
Yeah,
about.
that's true. I can go back further. Maybe I'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then before this girl, who were you seeing before this girl?
A nutritionist. Okay, and someone in California. Mm-hmm.
And how long did you guys go out?
2010 to 2012.
Okay, so a couple of years.
A couple of years, yeah. Good couple of years. She went out with another guy.
That's a problem.
I mean,
Okay. Wow. Okay, that's cool.
yeah. So,
Okay, so she actually cheated on you.
yeah,
Or did she woman want someone else?
that's what she did. Yeah, right. She did. She went out there and
Okay.
yeah, I actually I found her in bed with him. So that was the way it was.
Say that again.
Yeah, I know. It was.
God, did I hear that right?
Yeah, you heard it right. So.
Okay. So
there's a pattern there. There is a pattern because I can go back to even my Michigan girls, and then that's the pattern that I usually pick up is finding that they'll end up going quite frequently. Yeah. So that's my
that
pattern.
they end up going out with someone else. And they end up,
Yeah.
oh dear, this is a terrible one.
What?
Okay.
It's not bad.
Not good for you.
No, I've gotten. Well, it is. It has been. Not as it doesn't burn like it used to burn.
No, but if that keeps happening for anybody, a man or a woman, after a while, you stop trusting. And they stop.
I'm gonna take the whole freaking window.
That's a good point. because trust is a big, yeah.
Yeah, of course it would. Of course,
That's a big one.
Cheated on, they're going to have suspicion about other people. So tell me a little bit about that. This girl cheated. I'm kind of wondering what kind of family background.
Thunderbirds? No, that was your email.
Tell me about that.
I use Thunderbird.
My dad?
Yep. No. Sorry, Rob, you got a little noise back
Yeah, there is some noise over here.
Her dad. Tell me about her dad.
Oh, her dad was a junkyard dealer.
Okay.
And
how did she really feel about her dad? Did she love and respect her dad?
not really.
Okay, not really. Okay.
I mean, complain. There's like this little complaining going on.
Okay.
Dad did this, dad did that. There's always a level of complaining going on.
Okay, because here's the thing is, one of my big number one rules, when guys go out there to find a quality girl, she probably needs to love and respect her father, because the way that a woman feels about her dad is how she's going to eventually feel about you. So you probably want to make that good. Okay. So I kind of assumed if normally if a girl cheats, either she learned to cheat from one of her parents or she doesn't love or respect her dad, because it's very disrespectful for a woman to cheat on a man if she loves and respects her father. Do you see how it's like there's a connection there? Yeah. So that's kind of my number one rule, is that you really probably want a girl who loves and respects her dad, because otherwise you almost like a losing proposition kind of thing. So tell me about her role model. Did her parents stay together?
They did, but dysfunctional.
Okay. So they were married, but not.
Right. I mean, as you see it so much, it's hugely dysfunctional. Hugely.
Okay. I will tell you, unhappily married.
How old is that class?
Yeah, but it's Midwest. Come on.
I know. It's so true.
It's
I grew up in the Midwest. I know what it's like. But yeah, because here's the problem with parents staying unhappily married. If they stay together, but they're not very happily married, then us as kids think, oh, well, marriage is just, you suffer, you struggle through it, you stick through it, it's your ball and chain, and you just stay. I mean, but who wants that? I mean, that's not what I want for a partnership, and you deserve better. So, Robert, tell me what you saw as a role model. What did you see your parents doing?
Well, I saw them actually going through, and my mom actually controlled the money, and my dad worked like the work of 10 people, and it was a farm. So they grew it to a fairly large farm, and not that there was, but my mother's the one who controlled the books in the family, and this was a family operation, a family business. So that was how. And my dad did drink, and my mom never did.
And when you say your dad drank, did that cause problems in the family?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just a matter of
Mhm.
folders, Matthew Price.
When you say your mom
Matter of
controlled
fact,
your
I think
money,
at one time we
does
made.
that mean that she?
I know we got the printer shared.
Well, she wrote it on a financial side in a very different way. He would say certain things that he would need this much money for this or that, but in the end, when they were controlling millions of dollars, that my mom did it. She's the one that knew when to. She paid all the bills and received all the money.
Okay. And what was your relationship with your mom? Like,
I'll deliver it, and then we'll take.
I was a surrogate husband.
And then I'll copy all that information back on.
I mean, I don't know how else to say it than that, but
yeah.
But there was no sexual thing. But I was totally in the. I mean, drew a lot of separation between my father and I for the last 40 years. Anyway.
Uh-huh. And what did you like? If you were to be really honest, did you have love and respect for your mom, or was it more she depended on you, so you had to be there for her?
A little of both, but I would say I did have love and respect for her because she always was there protecting me from another angle.
Yeah.
So we thought, there was a whole manipulation game that I didn't realize was going on for 30 years.
Yeah.
As long as I can move the data, I already got it.
Right.
Knowing about
That I should be able to export. Yeah, there is no password. He has to do another.
It's always going to be a little bit confusing for you.
So it rips right into the desktop.
Yeah.
It says
Because the truth is, the way a son should feel about his mom is basically, I love and respect her, but you're not put in that, partnership role. So I would guess with women, there's always probably a little bit of confusion about, kind of what the roles are supposed to be. Does that make sense? Yeah. But with your parents, was there any cheating with your parents or not?
No, there was no cheating going on with my parents, but definitely the other parts of it really showed up, like the alcohol.
Was there fighting?
Yeah.
Because your dad was drinking. Was there a lot of that?
Yep. Yep. Yep.
I mean, it sounds like maybe you were, made to be more of an adult at a time when you should be more of a kid. Just saying. I've interviewed a lot of people in 18 years, and the ones that seem to get this the easiest are the ones who are like, oh yeah, my mom and dad were happily in love, and I really love and respect my opposite sex parent. Okay. We don't all win that lottery ticket, so it's okay.
No.
You have with girls that end up cheating. That, if that's kind of your pattern, we definitely, you don't want that, because like I said, how are you going to end up trusting someone? So if you think about an unhappily married, that's not so good, dad complaining about the dad. So if we were to go back to your current relationship, how did she feel about her? How does she feel about her dad?
Well, you see, I think there's been a big shift. I think there, in the current relationship, I think there was. I think Dad had a certain pattern that he took a role that took on with Cheryl, and then, but I how does it affect? I think there's been a growth of connection in the last 6 months. That's the best I can say. I mean, I just see there's a better connection in the current relationship, but in the next relationship, that was still separate. The guy ruled the house with his, voice and, like swinging kind of way. So
you're talking about
like Annette. Yeah, I'm a lot of Midwestern people, unless you just have to raise up higher, a little bit higher to your next relationship, but you still have a subtle aspect of that you've picked up. It's not as deep as the previous one, but you still have a lesson to learn with that little bit of pattern.
Yeah.
My thought is if I'm thinking correctly.
So if you were going to summarize how Cheryl feels about her dad, in her, really how she really feels, what would you say? What would you say? She really, really feels about her father.
I think today it's much better. I said the little bit of fear, a little fear.
Okay. Ooh, that's not good.
Yeah.
And when she was younger, it wasn't so good.
Well, they were best friends when they were younger. I think it's a combination between the two parents. But yes, I would say she's feared him more than the mom. So yes.
Because remember how I said earlier, the way a woman feels about her father is how she'll eventually feel about you at some point. So, we want this to be as good as it possibly can be. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me about her mom and dad. How's their relationship?
Wow. I don't. I sure don't want it.
So they don't seem very happy together at all.
Of course they are. It's like 60 years or 55 years of whatever they've gotten to work. They've worked out. In some ways, I can see how wonderful it is for them. No, I don't have any. I don't want to live like that. Then I'm, that
The
is.
part that you like is that what they don't communicate, or they're not affectionate, they're not loving.
Yeah, there's pretty much a lot of stabbing going on.
Okay.
Like there's nothing. There's certainly there's no I love yous. I can tell you that.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a clue here. I'm going to give everybody a clue here. Okay. Whatever you see
Windows 7 and Windows 10.
in your partner's
So
family,
we put 7 on
if
here.
you look at her parents and you go, ugh, and you go, oops, I'm kind of afraid of that. If you are naive enough to think that those things won't affect your relationship,
Oh,
naive. Okay. Just, in fact, I would go so far to say that whatever you see in the family background, you can expect will impact your relationship at some point.
Well,
I can believe that.
You want it to be as good as it possibly
So,
can be.
we're gonna replace the whole
You know
computer.
that her parents
Right.
kind of
If the other one,
at some point you guys will have yucky communication.
if I wanna move this
Right.
stuff there,
Um,
what,
Let me ask you this. Let's go way back. Oops, I lost you again. Can you hear me, Robert? Oh. There you are. Hi. Okay, so I'm going to ask you this. I know about two relationships where the family background's not so great, the dad situation not so great. Those are my two no's, So let me ask you this. Let's go back and have you ever been in a relationship where she really did love and respect her dad and she saw a good role model with at least one of the parents? Sorry. Well, here's the good news. The good news is if you really can't think about one of those, guess what? All we'd have to do in order for you to have a better relationship. Yeah. Oh, I think I lost your volume. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but oh my God, I don't know of one relationship that I can look back through. Even my married and divorced one, they were going through a divorce as we were getting married.
Oh my gosh, that's horrible. Bad.
God.
Okay, so here's the thing is,
I really got a thing for divorce.
so you've been doing this for a while, and honestly, I get why you've done it because your dad was drinking, your mom was controlling,
Yeah.
So you learned to
Yep.
adapt, you learned to kind of like probably did a lot of kind of rescuing kind of things and
Tons.
peace, which you understand. Coming up in that kind of family, you're perfectly primed for any woman who has issues with her dad, or parents not happily together. You understand, you can go in there and rescue. Now, what does that do for you though?
Oh,
Yeah, no.
it's
It's not so good. It's not so good.
so
Okay.
as far as like, we're.
So
sorry. It just
No,
is.
so I'm just trying to help you realize that, kind of if you keep trying to do this thing and I get it, probably you had to do a lot of rescue.
You've got the old side.
You know what you caught what I actually noticed what you did now, and you're right. You picked out a pattern that I've been repeating over and over and over again.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like your whole adult life, unless you can think back of a girl who didn't have those two things.
That's about everything that I speak.
Where I'd like to start when we go into
No,
that,
you've got a 07 disc there.
she loves and respects her father. So we're
Like
talking
this.
guys, right?
Yep.
Loves and respects her father. And then number two, that she saw a good role model. Doesn't have to be her parents stay together.
Your
One
wife.
of her parents has functioning
It's got the
relationship.
box just like
Because
that. Remember?
you haven't really seen what it looks like. He hasn't seen what it looks like. Nobody knows what's going on. I lost you visually again. There you are. Do you see what I mean? It's like it's best that at least someone in the coupling can lead this ship, like set the rudder on what a good relationship looks like. I'm not saying all is lost if both people have never seen it, but boy, it's a rough road because it's like you're asking yourself and this partner to do something that neither one of you have ever seen. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes, it does.
And I can see growing up the way that you did, you can see kind of how you perfectly fit into that. Like probably the women kind of see you as a stabilizing force and a guy who can kind of deal with anything. But in the long run, does that give you happiness, harmony, peace?
Wow, that's a big
Yeah.
awakening just to know that, because you picked out a pattern. I could have had, I'm sure there's other patterns in there, but that one is a big one.
It's really big because, and I do think when people grow up in kind of troubled families, the way that you and I both did, it's easy for us to kind of think, oh, we can rescue anything, we can fix anything, we can make it all work. But really, can we? I mean, at your age that you haven't been in one relationship that had those, what I consider.
You don't make floppy drives anymore. But you can.
Then you're going to have a chance that the relationship will actually work. Otherwise, I don't know. I really.
Well, that's the unique thing that you just did there, because it's like, oh, wait a minute, this is we've got to overcome 50 years of someone else's abused or dysfunctional family, and we're trying to say we're going to be okay. And yes, I jump in and think you're going to fix it, and you're all of a sudden you get in you can't fix anything.
Yeah, and I would say one thing for sure, if you're going to try to make this relationship work that you're in right now, that you guys should be getting help, get some counseling, get some therapy, because that when you describe her parents as a yucky relationship, I guarantee that's going to cause problems at some point. In fact, you're going to look at her and go, oh, you're doing that yucky thing that your parents did. It's very predictable. In fact, I'll tell you how predictable I believe this is. If you tell me about your best friend's current relationship, whatever's going on right now, whatever the problems are, the sticking points, the drama, the chaos, whatever's happening currently right now, you tell me about that. I can tell you the family background on both sides, because we are without a doubt a product of our environment. What we grow up around does affect us. Another thing that you could be doing in your case is working on, that even though you were put in a kind of a rescue role and a parent role at way too young of an age, it doesn't serve you in trying to find the right partner. So you could go back and work on a lot of that stuff. The more that you can clear that up and realize it's not my job to rescue, it's not my job to take care of everybody. I know this one really well. I do the same one. That we're not put on on the planet just to do those things. That could probably change your direction and relationship.
Oh my God.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Are there people on the line that are actually listening to us that maybe want to ask questions about this? Because I, in general, can identify any of those things.
That's one thing I'll do.
But I will say this: in your case, if I were to ever have you as a client, I would want to introduce you to a girl who really loves her father. Says things like, "Oh my gosh, like my dad."
$125 an hour, that includes all the drive.
Generous and warm and sweet and fun and full of joke. So if a girl says great things about her father, that's
Yeah, you got the 07 back, even out here.
that's what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
I'd
I know that.
loved her dad a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That would help and then if she saw a good role model, you could have a completely different.
Is there a user ID name on this?
And you wouldn't have to be rescuing anybody or taking care of anybody.
Oh my gosh. Because because you don't have that issue to deal with.
Yeah. Now it changes the complete dynamic. Even when you said that you've been with girls that cheat, in general, women don't cheat unless they have daddy issues in general. Yeah. Or if she saw one of her parents cheating, she'll also decide, oh, it's okay to do that.
Well, they talk about it, but that doesn't mean that they did it. It's just, but it's very true though. I look at from all the way back into 40 years, and when you were asking me, I go, darn, if that was one thing that was in every relationship was the father figure.
Yeah, it's so important. It really
that's 30 years of I didn't put that together. That's really ridiculous.
And I think most people cannot see their patterns. It's kind of seeing the tree for the forest. We can't see it. We're too close to it. I have a pattern. I also rescue because I came from a lot of chaos, kind of like you. And I will, I'll get involved with a guy who's an alcoholic or has a mental illness because I know how to take care of people. I know how to rescue people. But I'm so over it. I'm so tired of it. I want someone who I don't have to take care of,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, it really does make a big difference.
So the feeling that it doesn't have anything to do with looks, does it? It has to do with just matching up and being able. What would be another way if you could? Is there another questions that you could uncover here?
Well, I will say that the pattern that you have, where you're kind of a little bit of a rescuer, and you kind of can ask, you can probably adapt to any situation. Is that good? Yes. In business, it's probably good. In relationships, yes. But in the end, it doesn't help you. So I guess what I'm saying is that it is a fairly common theme with men that are not ending up in the right relationships, that if they keep trying to fix everything and rescue everything, in the long run, they just end up exhausted. And at some point, like in your case, if women keep cheating on you, at some point you're like, oh, I'm not going to trust any of them. And you don't want that. If that makes sense.
Right away.
Well, I knew it was something to do with inside of me, allowing that. But I didn't realize it was something to do with the pattern of the female, the way that she looks at her dad.
Yeah, totally has to do with that. Now, and you understand it takes two. So meaning these girls are kind of looking for you too, because you look like someone that would be, able to, no matter what happened, you could probably go with the flow. I'm sure you did a lot of that. You probably, your mom's controlling things, your dad's drinking. So you're just, you're just working it. You're just doing whatever you need to do. Well, any girl who, that would be an appealing package for a girl that needs someone that would be that way. But like I said, in the end, does it really give you a happy, great relationship? Now, here's the problem is, I always end up identifying the pattern with someone, but then the problem is you're still attracted to those people because that's who you've been attracted to your whole life. Okay. So don't think, oh, now I'm aware that I have this pattern and now I'm not going to do that anymore. No, that's not, it doesn't happen that way. We're still attracted to those same people. But what we have to do is make a conscious choice or decision. I'm not going to, if I find out that they really have daddy issues, that no, that's not what I'm looking for. And then I find a different one. Now, does it help if someone else does that for you? Yeah, because it's, we start to think, like anytime someone says to me, oh, all men are this, all women are this, I know for sure they're in a pattern. because the truth is not all men are that and all women are that. It's just that that's what we keep getting, right? So if you go out there and try to do it on your own, chances are you're going to meet the same type of woman over and over and over again. And you might have friends who don't get that. They don't get the girls who have daddy issues. They get a different type of girl, right? In fact, you probably know some guys who are bad to women.
Oh, yeah.
You know? They probably had crappy moms, you know. But yeah, for us to think our own pattern, so it's challenging because we're right in the middle of it. It's hard for us to see what we're doing. Yeah. So
Very powerful. Thank you.
and that's, I think, where, for example, where Marla would be doing the picking for our clients, we go in and we say, well, no more of that, you know, let's try something different. And then we can change their whole outcome. But, you know, in fact, picture this, okay? We're all at a black tie event, okay? The perfect girl for you is sitting right next to you. You haven't noticed she's sitting there. The reason why you haven't noticed she's sitting there, your radar is set up for who can I rescue? Who can I fix? Who can I help? I'm good at it. I know how to do it. I did it my whole childhood, right? This girl talks so highly about her dad. Oh my gosh, I got a great dad. My dad's so loving, caring. He's always there for me. My mom and dad are still in love. They're still holding hands after 40 years of marriage. Perfect for you. But you understand, you're not set up, you don't notice she's sitting next to you because that's not where your radar is set up for. So a good matchmaker will send you out with that girl. Now, I'm at the same black tie event. I'm going to find the only alcoholic in the group, or maybe he has a mental illness because I'm really good with those guys, right? This is what we all do. We all keep finding our people over and over and over again. So, you know, someone else does the picking, they're going to pick differently. Yeah.
That's a great way of putting it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's powerful to also know that we have the power to change that.
Yeah.
But thank you for noticing and letting me know that too as well. Because I did not know that pattern. I mean, that's a big one.
And you said in your marriage, it was similar in your marriage too.
Yeah. I mean, that when we talked about parents, mostly everybody that in San Diego are transplants. So there's the last 20 years have been millions of people just moved there. So yeah, me not even thinking about not even thinking about the father aspect of it or the family aspect of it put me in a weird, my marriage was, they were going through a divorce as we were getting married.
And that's horrible timing, because the reason why it's such horrible timing is that if a woman, or if her mom and dad are going through a divorce, she'll go through a stage where she questions, you know, does marriage work? Is it possible? You know, maybe it doesn't work, you know, doubting everything about even the institution of marriage. And, you know, it really, I mean, bad timing. Let's definitely say that. How did she feel about it?
But she didn't like her dad either. And I can go back. I can even go back to my whole farming days, and the women that I picked in Bad Axe were just ones that they were having issues with their dad.
Yeah, that's not good. Not good. Definitely stay away from that one. If you take nothing away from this conversation, everybody, especially the men, don't do that, because it's such, you know, relationships are hard enough, you know, lifestyle, interest, hobbies, you know, there's so much that goes into a relationship. If you don't even have the right foundation, how are you going to negotiate through the rocky times? Because there will be rocky times in every relationship, but if you don't even have the foundation to fall back on, and nobody's set the rudder, you know, that's where, like, someone like you, if we put you out with a girl who really did see a good role model, as long as you were willing to follow along, which I think you probably would, because you're like, hey, I'd like to have a happy, easy relationship. Because I can tell you this, if you ever run out with a girl who really loved her father and saw a good role model, you'd be like, oh my gosh, this is so easy. This relationship is easy. There's great communication. Things are, she respects me. I respect her. We can communicate. And you'd be like, wow, this is easier. Yeah.
That's
I
huge.
think I lost
No,
your
no,
voice
yeah.
again.
No, that's true. That's the power in just recognizing the pattern. I did not know it. I did not even see it in myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very welcome. And like I said, I do this with every client when I sit down with them, because I want to make sure that whatever pattern they're doing, and there's all kinds of different patterns, but whatever pattern they're doing, we don't want them to keep doing that, because you already know you've been doing this for X amount of years. It's not going to have a different outcome. The outcome's always going to be kind of similar. Yeah. Yeah. So you grew up in farm country? I grew up in farm country.
Yes. Yeah, we had a farm. We grew about 3,000 acres of row crops and hay, and had fed 8,000 head of cattle. So.
Wow.
So
I grew up in Indiana in 37.
Wow. This is bad. Bad X is about 30. What's that?
Yeah. And it was because all the people I grew up with, they all had small farms. Well, all the small farms kind of went away. So the town never really grew. It's basically the same as it was, 35 years ago. Yeah. But as you know, good morals, good values.
Yeah. Very solid. Very country girl. So you rode horses, did you?
I did a little bit of horseback riding, but I spent a lot of time in cornfields, cornfields.
Yeah.
Fields,
Yes.
It's
totally.
hard to have ego when you grow up in cornfields,
No. Yeah, it's with the corn stalk is your ego.
They do that out here in Southern California, over in Temecula. They grow cornfields where you can run through these mazes. I haven't done it yet, but I want to.
That's fun. Yeah, it's like what we did when we were kids.
Exactly. So much fun. Like when people say they've never run through a cornfield, I'm like, poor thing.
Exactly. You don't know what it's like.
You know how much fun it is. And then to right down by the ground and look at the farm.
Yeah.
So much fun.
So much. Well, thank you for that today.
Yes,
it was really, really helpful. So when you match me up, what kind of a girl would you match me up with?
Well, then, because I always start with the foundation, which is what we just did. Once I get the relationship history out of the way, then we get superficial. Because men are visual, I would say the visual part of what we do is only 1% of what we do. However, it is the first percent, meaning if we don't catch a guy on the looks part, we've lost you altogether. So we have to find out what your looks type is. So here's a question I always ask my guys. This is a little bit of a challenging question for most guys, but not only will it help me get a looks type, but even more importantly, I'm going to ask the question first, then I'll tell you what's so important about this question. So here's the question. If I were to say to you, that is a gorgeous woman, or I'm really attracted to that girl, or I find that girl in that one role and that one TV show or in that one movie, I really find her attractive. Who pops into your mind? Who do you think, wow, she's amazing?
Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's what I learned when I hear Sandra Bullock. Not only do I got a looks type because I know what Sandra looks like, right? But more importantly, I know you want a girl who's down to earth. I know you want a girl who's approachable. I know a girl that's open-minded, doesn't take herself too seriously, clearly is very loving when she's adopted 2 kids. Um, do you see, more importantly, I'm going to look at her personality. I'm going to go, that's the personality that Robert's most drawn to. So do you see how different that would be than like Pamela Lee Anderson? Well, that's a totally different type, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's the opposite. I can tell by
Oh
the
my
difference.
God, yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
So whatever a guy says, when I ask that question, I look at the personality that that girl usually plays, and I know exactly what personality you're looking for. And you're like, oh my gosh, how did you know exactly what kind of personality I was looking for? Well, you gave me a walking picture. I know what Sandra, and she always plays, the girl next door, sweet, kind, considerate, warm, nurturing, approachable. That's the type of girl that you inevitably like.
Wow, you got all of that out of one name.
Yes, yes, yeah, yeah. And notice the way I asked it. I didn't tell you I was looking for personality, because when people try to think about personality, it's too hard for them to. But the truth is, we think in packages anyway. So yes, she has to be attractive, but I can tell you this: if you liked her looks but you didn't like her personality, you never would pick Sandra, right? It's more the personality that's more important.
For me, it is, yeah. Because yeah.
For pretty much even the most superficial guy will not pick a girl that he thinks is really, really hot, but he can't stand her personality. He just won't, because our brains don't work that way. They really do think as a package. This is a package deal. I'm going to, I have to live with this person. And the truth is, like I said, even though our company we definitely have the largest database of gorgeous women. There's no matchmakers out there that have as big a database as we do. So yes, we understand how important looks are for men. So we start there. But the truth is, if we don't, we can get your attention with the looks, but we'll never hold your attention if we don't have the personality. We have to have the personality that goes along with it. It's just essential. Yeah.
It's big time.
After a short period of time, the looks are just like, okay, there it is, but it's the personality that's got to be what would keep your interest. Yeah.
That's a big point. Personality would have to take over at some point in the relationship, because first you got to enjoy.
Yeah. So our goal as matchmakers would be to find the girl that has the looks that you're open to, but more importantly, that she has that personality, so that 6 months into it, you're more crazy about her than the first day you met her, right? Because if she's got that great personality, like Sandra Bullock, oh my gosh, I would go for her myself. I mean, come on, she does have a great personality.
She does.
She really does.
Yeah.
Herself too seriously. She doesn't do the whole Hollywood thing.
What about Debbie Moore?
I think Demi Moore might be going down the road that you've been down for a while. And the reason why I say that, she's had some issues. She's had some alcohol issues. She's had some mental sort of things.
Yeah.
So that one might be going back to your pattern.
I wouldn't be surprised, because I liked her for a lot of years.
Exactly. And how often, Robert, do you know how often men will pick girls that have that kind of same family background that they've been doing all those years, and they'll pick a star that will have the same family background? And I don't know what Demi Moore's family background is. However, given the choices that she made kind of in the public eye, I bet there's something a little weird there. Just my guess.
There is.
My educated guess that I've been doing for 18 years. Yeah.
It totally is. Totally is. Awesome.
And now if you want to ask more about, okay, well, then what do we do?
Yeah.
Normally what I'll do is I'll send you a ton of girls to get a sense of, like often I'll send like 80 pictures to you.
So if you send so many pictures, why so many? Why not just get me lined up with the right one? Is it a
Well,
chemistry?
no, no, I'll tell you why. I do it big funnel, narrow it down to small group. Okay. So I start with a lot. So let's say I send you 80 pictures of women. Out of those 80 pictures, you might pick 20 that you find attractive. Then I'm going to send you profiles on those 20 girls. And on those, then there's going to be things in the profile where you're like, oh, she loves skiing. I hate the cold. I hate snow. Check her off the list. Oh, this one has little ones at home. No, I don't want little ones. Okay, check that one off. Or I don't like where that girl lives. So then it's like a narrowing process. So first we start with looks, because like I said, men are visual. Got to start with looks. Start with looks. Then we're getting more into lifestyle, interest, hobbies, morals, values, how people think, religious beliefs, all that other stuff that goes into making a relationship. And then we narrow it down, usually to about, usually around 10 to 15 girls that a guy really wants to meet. Now, this is something you understand, all this upfront work. We don't get paid for doing any of this upfront work, but we do it because we want to prove to you and show a guy we really have the girls. These aren't, oh, this is representative of what we have. No, this is what we actually have. And these girls are single and available, and you can go out with them.
So what about a pattern? You'll keep matching. You go through all that questioning like you did with me with the girl.
We do a little bit more of a superficial one with the girls because they're not paying clients. But yeah, we want to find, we want to find out about their fathers because we know that makes a big difference, right? Okay, so with a girl, I won't come right out and say, hey, tell me about your dad. And if we do, we're not waiting for lip service, meaning if she just says, oh, I have a great dad, I'm not going to trust that. Here's what I'm going to trust. If she says, you know what, my dad, even to this day, when he calls on the phone, he always asks, where's my beautiful bride? Where's the love of my life? Okay, that girl has a great dad, and the dad still loves the mom and treats the mom with love and respect. If she tells me a story that and these are all stories that I've heard from my clients, my dad buys my mom flowers every week, never the same flowers, never the same day, but every single week he brings her flowers, and he's been doing it for 50 years now. Again, that's not your family or my family.
No,
right?
Not at all.
But I have heard so many.
I'd want to be that one. Not just hearing that. I want to be that one.
And think about it, Robert. If I introduced you to a girl who said that story, do you realize it would change your whole trajectory? I can't even say the word. It would change your whole direction of your relationship life. It really would, because she knows how a woman acts when she loves and respects a man, because she saw her mom do it her whole entire life. And it really does make a difference. It really, really does. It's if we've seen our parents do it, we can duplicate it. And like I said, it's not like we can't do it if we didn't see our parents do it. But I really would recommend one person in the country.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really all it takes is to go down through and interrupt the pattern that I'm currently on and go on a different pattern, because the whole life changes when you got those particular needs that you've been missing for all your life. It'd be weird though. And I wouldn't want.
Mm-hmm. Even like resolving conflict, a functional relationship. So let's say I send you out with a girl like that. When conflict comes up, the parents showed her how you listen, there's a give, there's a take, there's a love, there's a respect. They know how to argue, but still show respect to the other person. So do you see how it makes for such a different dynamic in a relationship? Yeah.
Powerful.
Yeah. No, it really, really is. And I see the results of it. We have this client down in Louisiana. who he was always rescuing women, and he was like 50, like 50 after another, you know, financially ruined, mentally ill, rescue. And then we send him out with a girl who doesn't need rescuing. And now they're traveling the world, having a great time, enjoying their lives. And it really can impact who they choose. Yeah.
Wow. That's true. And because they're not thinking that they're in a pattern.
Mm-hmm. No, and I don't think anybody that, just like that, most of my clients during that process that I did with you have an epiphany. They do. They like, oh, I didn't know I was doing that. Oh my gosh, nobody ever showed me I was doing that. And then, you know, like I said, awareness is the first step. And then the second step is, how do I keep not, you know, how do I not choose that same person over and over and over again? How do I choose someone differently? Well, if we put someone different in front of you, that's you got a different choice then.
Yeah, because then that you're now where it's like, oh, you have at least screened it. Now you know your pattern, so now you're looking for something a little different anyway, and you start accepting it.
Yes. And I do think if a person's going to do this on their own and not have, say, like a matchmaker come in and help them, then they really have to make an absolute conscious choice that, okay, next girl that I meet is going to love and respect her father. Like in your case, you would literally have to do that, and you would have to make that choice.
Yeah.
And you have to find out the real truth. Here's the other thing is, girls will hide that they have issues with their father in the beginning. So you have to be kind of, you know, sneaky about it to find out how they really feel.
Yeah. I mean, I went and rescued my mom and my dad. That's what I was rescued. And I'm back to hearing, whoa.
Yeah. And do you see how it's so easy to just, it's almost like you grew up believing this is my job. I rescue my mom, I rescue my dad, I take care of things. I just kind of do whatever I need to do. And then you do that throughout your whole life. But it doesn't help you end up with happiness and harmony and love.
No, I'm telling you what.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but you're right on about that.
Yeah. And like I said, everybody has different patterns, but I would say 98% of every person I've talked to in the last 18 years is in a pattern. The few, like the 2% that don't pattern, are usually flip-floppers. So what I mean by that is they'll go for someone really, really healthy who comes from a great family. You know, she loves her dad. She saw her mom and dad stay happily married, but no chemistry, no passion, just want. Nobody wants that, right? So then they'll go there. Then they'll go out with a crazy chick who's, oh my gosh, passion, you know, great sex, crazy, but just comes from, you know, raging alcoholic father, you know, and then they'll go back to want, and then they'll go back to exciting dynamic, and then just keep going back and forth to where they're not hitting the mark either, because really they're looking for something kind of more in the middle there. Yeah.
As I gotten older, though, the sex has gotten better.
Well, that's good. That is a good thing. and we have to, you know, like you asked, why would you send 80 pictures? I send 80 pictures because there's really no way for us to identify what your looks type really is. You could say, oh, I really like exotic brunettes, but then I send a ton of exotic brunettes and only a third of them you're actually going to find attractive. I don't know that anybody can really identify what chemistry is. So I'm not even going to bother to try. It's too difficult. It's easier to send you 80 pictures of women and say, what do you like? You know?
Yeah.
And that's how I've learned to weed it down. Plus, it gives them a good indication that we're not like the other companies that say they have a lot of women and then they don't. We really do. I can prove it to them and show them I have a giant database of women. And
But you have
the
also in the
chemistry.
experience part of knowing what works for a man because
Mhm.
of the 18 years, and you have a
Yeah.
simple process of finding out and tuning in.
Yes. Yeah. No, and it's just that weeding it down to, okay, so now these are the 10 women that you would like to meet. Let's start with this. Then they're also going to meet Marla, or, spend time getting to know her. Usually she'll throw some more in the mix. She'll be like, oh, if you like these 10, oh, have you seen this girl? Look at this girl. Look at this girl. And then usually, we'll add more on there. And then if they're trying to go back to their old patterns, Marlo usually won't let them. You know, I mean, we really do hold their hand through the whole entire process because we want them to end up in a relationship. As long as they end up in a relationship, we get to, they'll send us a referral, and we want them to send us referrals because that's kind of the lifeblood of our business. Yeah.
So
So, for example, Robert, if you were our client and we actually got you in a really calm, peaceful, loving, harmonious relationship, think about it. You'd be like a walking advertisement for us. And that's what we do.
I love that. I love that. That's really good. So when we go, so after I find a woman, what happens after 3 months if I don't like her after 3 months?
Okay, so if you meet someone and you're not thrilled, it's not going in the right direction, and you want to start dating again, then on almost all my programs now, I put a freeze hold on it. And then the reason why I do that is because we have clients all over the country. We have clients in Europe, we have clients in Canada. So some of these guys have to travel, to meet some of my women. So if they live in Minnesota, they have to come to LA, or they have to come to Florida, or they have to come to New York probably to meet a group of women. And we always make it efficient. We won't make you fly in to meet one girl. If you come in for a weekend, say you stay for 3 days, we'll probably have 5 different women available that you've already know all about them. You've seen their pictures, you've seen their profiles, you know all about them, and you want to meet them. And usually you've talked to them on the phone, and that way, we're not making you fly just to meet one girl. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, you would set up my dinner dates for me, and
Yes.
if we want to do a movie or if we just want a really romantic dinner.
Mm-hmm. We kind of recommend dinner, and here's why. Dinner, you guys can sit and get to know each other. Okay. Now, there's a couple different ways you can do this. Some of my clients, like we have a Michigan client who doesn't even want to leave the hotel because he's like, LA is kind of scary to him. And LA is a bit scary, really. So in his case, we set up, Marla did a concierge service where we set up all the dinner dates, what time, this girl's going to meet you at 5 on, Friday. This one's going to meet you Saturday at 7. And we set it all up for him. We set up the dinner reservations. We even set up the hotel for him. So we did everything for him, and he didn't have to. Now, there's other guys that know LA or might know New York or Florida, and they want to. They want to do that themselves. Yeah.
Good. That's nice to know because that takes the out of us.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And the truth is, yes, you want to somewhat impress the girl, so you don't want to bring her to, Denny's or something, right? You want it to be nice.
Denny's. Oh gosh.
Because the truth is, all of our women are beautiful women, so they don't really need to settle. But at the same time, they have to date the Southern California guys, which is a whole nother. Most girls, if we grew up somewhere else, we're not keen on the Southern California guys.
Yeah, there's
really bad reputations, very,
yeah.
bad.
Yeah,
because they take advantage of. There's so many gorgeous women who had literally moved here, to act or model or sing.
Mm-hmm.
The most beautiful women in the world moved to LA, they moved to Florida, they moved to New York. These are kind of the hotbeds for beautiful women. But then there end up too many of them. There's thousands of beautiful women, and hardly any great men. I mean, not monogamous men. Really, that's the biggest complaint that women have in Southern California is that the men don't want to settle down. They want to date 5 different models at the same time, and they don't want to settle down with any of them. So when we tell the women in our database, no, these guys have paid money to find a relationship. There's a limited amount of introductions they're going to get. These guys are for real. So they're serious. They want to settle down. They want to find the right girl.
Right.
Yeah. So it's different. It's different.
That's the power in that because now the ones that want that kind of relationship are going to show up that way, and that becomes your product, and how important that makes them. I want that because I'm going to be going somewhere.
Yeah.
It's like I'm scaling up, if you will.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you.
If a guy has the finances to outsource this to someone who this is all we do, like I don't do my own taxes, I don't mow my own yard, I don't even clean my own hot tub. We outsource things to people. This is just one more thing that you can outsource to professionals, and this is all we do. It would take you, it's a full-time job to have as many gorgeous women as we have. And they've been vetted. They're not just beautiful. They offer a lot more than just looks. Yeah.
That's powerful because you've gone through the questioning and you're matching up in the best way you possibly can, and alleviating all the patterns of the past. It's a pretty good chance that that's a good. What's a question? What's your success rate?
The truth is we only take on clients that we know we can match. So between Marla and I, we turn away quite a few clients. I'll just be honest. If you're not matchable for one reason or another, we won't take you as a client. If you're being completely unrealistic, if you're 65 and you still want to have a baby and you don't want to spend a fortune, we can't help you. We really can't, because how many girls in childbearing ages want to date a 65-year-old man? Okay. However, if he's willing to spend the money, we will find a few women who are open to that, and we will introduce them to him. However, if he's overweight, or he's really unattractive, or has a not so nice personality, we're not going to take him as a client, because what we do each time we meet with someone is to assess, can we get this job done? Will he give us a referral? When at the end, will he give us at least one referral? If the answer is yes, we'll take him as a client. If the answer is no, okay. Yeah. You pass on guys. Even when they offer us a lot of money, we still pass. Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
You're very
welcome. Thank you. So are you good with, are you good for today with this?
Yes, I think I'm good. I think
you good?
Covered so much.
Good. Thank you.
You didn't know I could talk this much.
No, but you did go deep with me.
Okay, good.
And I appreciate that. The questioning was very powerful. Anyway, it made a big difference in how I would view my relationships in the future and how I would show up for them.
Yeah.
And it's very different than what I've thought. I mean, just that slight little bit of just going a little bit deeper and asking some questions, because I'm not seeing my own patterns, and I'm continuously repeating, but I can see it if I ask the questions just a little bit deeper. I can see my patterns.
Yeah.
That's not them, it's me.
Yeah. No, it really is. We're the common denominator. We're always there.
Yeah, it's not blaming anybody else.
Yeah.
So I really thank you for that. It was very insightful, very educational, and heartfelt too, because I get to stop it or work on the patterns that I've created in the past and get rid of those energies that keep bringing that on.
Yeah. And I'm all about results. So I always want to give someone the best shot. So for me to try to match someone and not know what their relationship history is, to me, that's like you're totally getting the cart before the horse, because you don't even know what you're really dealing with.
You don't.
Because those are the things that we always pattern. So our best shot for results is finding out what the relationship history is. And here's another thing that we might consider is if there's people that would want me to do a relationship with history with them, if they think, oh, I don't have a pattern. You might not be able to recognize it, but you probably do. And I'm totally willing to do something like that, where I help them identify what they're doing wrong, so in the future they can do something different.
So that's the cool part. Finding, I bet you could really find relationship patterns really deep and quick.
Yes.
You could show them up in their face real quick, and they're like, oh, wow, this is it. Hello, this is a big neon sign. This is what you're doing.
Pretty much the way you reacted is pretty much how all my clients react, in the sense where they don't see that they're doing that. They don't see what pattern they're doing until I kind of point it out to them. And then they're like, oh.
Well, I couldn't see it when you're saying my current relationship. I'm way too close for one.
Yeah.
But when you said the second one, and then I said, what was the reason? Yeah. And then I go, holy shoot, look at how many other ones that I did.
Yeah.
And I'd get done with one and pick, there's 99 other ones that'd be great, but I picked the one. Oh, man.
And we all do it. That's the weirdest thing, is how we all do that same thing, where we just over and over and over again, and we can't understand why we're not getting different results. Well, it's because we're all stuck in these patterns. And, I'm writing a book about this right now, and I actually wrote a chapter in a book that I should get it any day now. And it's about the patterns that we do, and about love. And I'll let you know about that on the next one.
That'll be awesome. Thank you, Fredly.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's nice getting to know you better.
It's nice. Well, there you go. Now you've really got the pattern down for me.
All right. Well, all right, sweetie. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you.